email to where Becca so nicely sent us this email. You have two attachments. You have a Docusign template attachment, and you have an offer to purchase that's blank. What I need you guys to do is go ahead and download the blank Docusign template, so it'll pop up here. You don't need to unzip the folder or do anything with it. You just need to undo it. All right, and we're going to go over to Docusign. I'm going to give you guys a second to log in. Look at that, I guessed your password wrong. Surprise, surprise. All right, cool. Is everybody pretty much caught up? Everybody in Docusign? Still loading. Yeah, Docusign does take a little bit sometimes. So one little side note on Docusign that maybe you guys have already figured out is that Docusign has two different interfaces, unlike .loop. Docusign has this side, which is e-signature side, and then if you go to your little drop down on the right, you've got switch to rooms. We're not going to touch rooms today. We're just working on templates, so where you've logged in is exactly where you need to be. So what I'm going to have everyone do is click the templates button at the top. So obviously we've done a lot more templates than you guys have. Your screen should not look like this. We've populated a lot of things. What you need to do is click New and Upload Template. And then in your downloads, what you just downloaded, you're going to open it. Thanks, April. So it's going to take a little while, but then it'll say, you know, a little green check mark, and it'll say template uploaded. Now, I can't take credit for all these. If you guys see Sean walking around the office, Sean made these two templates. I've made a lot of templates, but tell her thank you if you get a chance, because what she did is she uploaded the blank documents and she put every single field you'll need on these. So it's all there for you. When you get ready to send it in the envelope, you don't have to recreate the wheel. It's already made, kind of like .loop was. If you haven't added anything and you've only uploaded the MC509, how many did you make? 2. Oh, there's 4. Sorry, I did the working with real estate agents, sellers, working with real estate agents, buyers, oil and gas rights, and the RPD. So you should have 4 in that zip folder. Okay. Once you guys have your templates there, we're going to go through the fun part today of creating a template. So we're going to populate the offer to purchase template. So what you'll need to do is go back over to that email from Becca. And the other attachment on that email was a blank offer to purchase. So go ahead and download that blank offer to purchase. And then hop back over to Docusign. Oh. I'll stand over here if that helps. I just have on my teacher voice today. That's all. What? All right. So now that we've gotten all those templates in, we're going to click the New button up here. And we're going to click, instead of Upload Template, Create Template. And right here we've got Untitled. You can title it whatever you think is going to help you find it later. So I'm going to title mine North Carolina Offer to Purchase. Okay. So are you here? Awesome. Stop where you are. Okay, so if you're here at the offer to purchase, what we're going to do is we're going to click upload, and you're going to go to your browser and you're going to find that offer to purchase, wherever your downloads folder is. And we're going to click the little open button. Okay, so if anybody's following along with our page that we made, we're on step 2 because we've already put all of the templates in that we made. We are on step 2F. So if you do get lost in one piece or the other, all the directions are here. You've got everything together. So if you've got your offer to purchase here, you've got your title up here, we're going to click next. Oh, wait, sorry. We're not going to click next yet. Go back. My bad. I forgot a really important step. We're going to go down. Ooh, I don't like this. And the roles. So here's the interactive part. Who can tell me who signs the offer to purchase? Little arrow in the bottom. Okay, so the buyer. Who else? Sellers. Who else? Escrow agent on page 14. Listing agent. That's it. So in this case, we are going to be using a buyer side, not a seller side. So that we have to put in the roles of the people who have to sign this document. So we are going to add buyer 1. Space or no space, doesn't matter. We're just telling this document how many people are going to have to sign it. And then we're going to have to click the Add Recipient button. And most of the time, in most cases, you have 2 buyers. Not all the time, but we need to make a space for buyer 2. Ooh, sorry. We're also going to add the buyer's agent. And then last, we're going to add the escrow agent. So you should have 4 fields. You should have buyer 1, buyer 2, buyer's agent, and escrow agent. The cool thing about Docusign is we assign each person in the document a different color. So you guys are going to see that when we go to the next step. Everything that we use is color-coded. So once you've got your 4, then we can click next. All right, so we have our working document in the middle. You've got your pages over here on the right side, and you've got your kind of toolbox, if you will, on the left. So there's 2 different ways we can do this, and I've put option 1 and option 2 on your instructions here. Option 1 is to go page by page. So you can start at page 1, you can add all the fields that you need on page 1, then move on to page 2, and so on and so forth. Or you can go by person who needs to sign. So you can assign all the fields for buyer 1, all the fields for buyer 2, all the fields for buyer's agent, and so on and so forth. We're going to go page by page because I feel like that makes things a little bit easier for teaching purposes, but you can do it either way. You can go back and forth if that's what works for you when you're making other templates later. So to start, you'll need to look at your drop-down up here on the left. And you have buyer 1, buyer 2, buyer's agent, and escrow agent. Those are the 4 people we added to the document. They didn't just come out of nowhere. We just added those 4 people. So we are going to select buyer's agent because you are going to be the one that fills out the majority of the information on this form before you send it to your buyers. So once you're here, everything purple here matches buyer's agent. The little circle is purple. This is the person that will fill it out when they receive the form. What we need to do is we need to use the text box. So we're going to click text. And we're going to add a text box next to seller. So click text box and click on the line. Once you do that, we can resize the text box just like you would think by dragging the bottom right corner, making it as long or as short as you would like. Because I'm crazy OCD, I like mine to match the length of the line. If you're like me, you can do that. Now, Sean and I, as we were going through all of these fun Docusign features, found out that when we send this form to someone else, they're not going to be able to see what we type in this field unless we check this box. So it is a required field. You have to fill in the seller's name. But if you scroll down on the right side of your screen, there's a little tab that says collaboration. Click your collaboration tab. It's on the very right. And it says recipients can collaborate. You want to check that box. If you don't check that box, when you send this form to your buyers, it's going to appear blank to them. They won't be able to see anything you type in that. So you want to be sure you check that box.
So every time you fill up a template, you must check that box, or say now that you
So we are creating the templates today. You only have to do that once.
Okay.
So you guys will only have to sit through this once. Once you've made your offer to purchase, you don't ever have to make the template again. It's already there.
But this one's for buyers, so you have to have another one for sellers.
This one is for buyers, but you technically won't have a template for sellers because the buyer's agent will be sending you the template. They'll be sending you the offer, so you'll be populating signatures, and you'll do that just like we're doing today.
Does this get autofilled like Docu?
It does not get autofilled. The transaction room does not talk to the other thing. Yes?
Is this text field then not filled in when you're sending an offer? You don't have
No,
the colors
you
in
will
there?
have to fill this text field in. We're going to have a separate class at a later time on zip forms. It's a totally different tool that will talk to Docusign, but for the sake of teaching purposes today, we're going to table that discussion. We're just going to finish talking about the templates, and then we'll talk more about zip forms later. So after you've added that text box, we're going to repeat the same process adding another text box to the buyer line, making it longer. And then going down on the right side to the recipients can collaborate button. So, yeah. And collaborate. If you want everybody to be able to see the text that's in that box, yes, you can do it. You only have to do it once, though, Chris, I promise. Okay, if you are tech savvy, just as a note for people who in here are tech savvy, you can copy and paste your boxes. So I'm not going to go over that if you're not tech savvy because I don't want to confuse anyone. But you can, if you're a Mac user, you can Control C and Control V. And if you're a PC user, you can, I think it's yeah. It's Command on Mac, sorry, and then it's Control on the other. And that, if you copy and paste your boxes, it copies and pastes with all the formatting included.
Except collaboration.
Yes, collaboration does copy over if you copy and paste the box. So we're going to keep doing the same thing. We're going to add a text box for the street address and drag it over to make it the same length. And recipients can collaborate. So for each box, you have to collaborate because you want your buyers to be able to see those pieces on the offer to purchase when you send it over to them to sign. So I'm just going to continue to add my text boxes here for the address. You can use the full name. However, if you're using the full name piece, you have to make sure that it's assigned to the correct person. So example, if you wanted to use buyer one's name, you would have to make sure you were on buyer one before you did that. It depends on who they're assigned to. So real quick, everybody, April's noticing that some people's colors are different than mine on the screen. Make sure that as you're assigning these boxes, that you have buyer's agent up here in the top left. As long as you have buyer's agent in the top left. If your color is different, that's fine. But that means the person that's filling in this information is going to be buyer's agent. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
They're not really.
Yeah. Okay. If you accidentally added a text field, for example, with the wrong color, and you have this box right here, and it's assigned to buyer one, and we don't want it assigned to buyer one, we want it assigned to the buyer's agent. It's easy to fix. All we have to do is go to the drop-down menu up in the top left, select it, and change it to buyer's agent. Or, I'm sorry, you have to click the box here, and change it on the right side to buyer's agent. So you can either change the box or delete it and add a new one, whatever works best for you. But you have to make sure that you're clicking the recipients can collaborate button. Buyer 1, Buyer 2, Buyer's agent, and escrow agent. The 4 people that need to sign it. You have fun on your text boxes in there? It is much easier. Mm-hmm. Once we get past this lovely first page, it gets a little bit easier. It does, I promise. All right, no matter where you are, I want you to freeze. I want you to stop adding text fields. I want to show you a couple other things for time's sake, and I'm going to show you how to come back to your template and finish adding those text fields later, because it's just the same step over and over and over again. So I want to talk a little bit about checkboxes, drop-downs, and radio buttons before you guys leave me. Checkboxes versus radio buttons. The difference is written on here, but let me explain it the easiest way I can. Checkboxes are if you can select more than one option. Makes sense, right? So for example, on the residential property disclosure, you're talking about siding on a house. If it has brick and vinyl, you can select both. Or if it has stone and brick and vinyl, you can select all 3. That's when you would use checkboxes. If you're going to use radio buttons, it's only one option is valid out of your options. So for example, you would use radio buttons on the RPD for the yes, no, or no representation, because you can only select one of those 3 options. So on the offer to purchase, there are a few places where we will use each of these. Here on the initial earnest money deposit on page 1, you can only select one of those options. So we are going to use radio buttons. So if you look at your toolbox on the left side and scroll down, you have radio. We're going to click that button, and we've got this little guy hovering. So we're going to add a radio button to cache, and automatically a second radio button pops up underneath it. The reason it's there is because obviously if you have more than one option, you're going to have at least 2. So we're going to drag that little guy underneath him to personal check. And then if there's a third option, we're going to click the plus button. And we're going to drag that little guy to official bank check. And so on and so forth. We're going to add more radio buttons until we have one for each option here. We're not going to add radio buttons with this offer or within 5 days. because that's a separate radio button set. So you should have 5 total.
You have to put all those in from the same sequence?
Yes, from the same one. The reason that you put all of those together is because you can only select one of those files.
And you've got to click the collaboration on every one of them.
And you do, well, not on every single one of them. Once you've got the set here, you can scroll down and then you can select recipients can collaborate. You don't have to do it for each one, just the set. If you want to delete the set, then you want to delete all of them or just one? Then you click the one that you want to delete and you can click your backspace or delete button. And it will delete that. Okay, so you're going to need a second set of radio buttons. So we'll click radio again on the left, and we'll add a radio button to with this offer, and we'll drag the second one to within 5 days. Then we'll go down on the right side and click recipients can collaborate. So for the sake of time, we know how to add text boxes. We know how to add radio buttons. Check boxes are the same process. We'll get to those in just a second. I want to talk about how to assign initials. So using your bar up here, your drop down, we're going to change our option from buyer's agent to buyer one. So your color should change totally. So once you have buyer one in your toolbox on the left, you should see signature, initial, date, sign, name, email, company, title, all of these fun things. We're only going to use initial. So if you'll click initial, you have the little hover bar. This bar is going to populate the initial right on top of it. So wherever you want the initial to sit on the bottom line is where you need to drag that initial box. So we're going to put the buyer one's initials inside the box at the bottom of the screen. And we're going to line up this bar as well as we can. I like to have it just a little bit above where it's going to sit. So you've got the initials. And then we're going to do the same exact thing for buyer two. So we're going to change our drop down. You don't have to unless you want to. So if you want other people to see that they've signed it once they have, you can click the collaboration button. But most buyers are together when they sign anyway, so I don't do the collaboration on that. It's up to you. So then we're going to change to buyer two. You should have a third color here. We're going to click the initial button and put the buyer two initials right next to buyer one. It does not automatically. It does not automatically save. Neither did dot loop though, so it's not like any of the settings are different. Dot loop did not save templates automatically. You have to save them and close them too. I'm going to show you that. Don't get paranoid.
Like you said, you only have to do this once. Once you
Right.
create this today, you can use this from now on. So if you follow along and we make this today, this is your standard offer to purchase form. This is what you will use. So as long as you can get through this template, we're showing you how to do one template. And then if we have, Kelly has kindly made the RPD, MOG, and everything for you guys to upload, and it's already free.
So you don't have to redo this over and over and
So
over
you do
again.
not have to, and Sean too, Sean also helps with that.
Yeah.
We have a great tech committee, Alex, Katie, and Becca have all been really working hard to create this. Today is simply to show you how to do it on your own.
It's So like if your team uses a separate form that you're gonna need Docusign, you'll be able to upload your own form, just like we uploaded the offer to purchase and populate the signatures and things like that. Okay. So we have not added the rest of the fields to page 1. I'm going to close this and show you guys how to get back to it. So just like Crystal just said, if you want to click Save and Close, you should have up here at the top of your templates NC offer to purchase that you just made. If you made a mistake or you send it once and you figure out, oh my gosh, a field's missing and I need to go back and add it, you're going to go over here to the blue button and you're going to click the little triangle drop down and you're going to click Edit. So it is a working document. You can always change it if you mess up a field or you need to fix it later. You could even add new fields if you forgot someone that needed to sign. So you're back to where you were, and you'll just click Next. And that takes us back to the page by page of where we are. So if you accidentally lose it and you can't find it again, it is saved in your dot loop. We've already saved, or in your drop for Docusign. So it's still here, and all of your fields are here that we've worked so hard to add. All right. So I want to look at, if you're scrolling, we know how to add the initials. Let's go to page 2. And let's practice using the drop down on the left side to change between buyer 1 and buyer 2 and add those initials to the bottom of page 2 as well. So if you're utilizing buyer 1 over here on the left, click initial and add to the bottom. And then change your drop down to buyer 2. Same process, initial at the bottom. And they're both here. And we'll do that on 13 of 14 pages of North Carolina offer to purchase. So what you guys will use your own time to do is you will go through the rest of the document. You'll add the text fields in the text field places that are needed. You will use buyer's agent to add all of those text fields because you won't want any of your buyers to be typing in those fields because you're the one that knows all that information. They don't know the tax pin. They don't know, what lot number and block number are there for the property, so you want to be sure all of those are assigned to yourself. Now, we had a really interesting conversation before this class about how Docusign allowed you to sign while you have the document open. Or Document allowed you to sign while you have the document open. Docusign doesn't do that for you. So, well, of course not. Why would they? It'd be too easy if they let you do that. What happens in Docusign is when you send the document, currently, the way that it's set up is it sends to everybody that you just populated there. So you said buyer 1, buyer 2, buyer's agent, and escrow agent. But as agents, we really don't want to send it to all those people at one time. In our preference, we would want to be able to fill it out first, and then it be sent to our clients. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up in actions the signing order of the document. So at the top of the screen up here, you've got this button that says Actions. I want you to click that drop down. And we're going to edit recipients. So the recipients that are here are the 4 that we added earlier in the process. What we're going to do is we're going to click this little tiny box that says Set Signing Order. Now, right now, it says the signing order it's going to be sent to buyer 1 first, and it's going to be sent to buyer 2 second, And then after that, it will be sent to the buyer's agent and then the escrow agent. And that's not going to work. So what we can do is we can drag them by hovering over these little dots, or making it simpler, we're just going to go in this little box that says 3 next to buyer's agent. We're going to make it say 1, because we want to get that document first, because we need to fill it out before it goes to our clients. So we're going to change that field to say 1. But we still have a discrepancy because it says buyer 1 and buyer's agent are going to get it at the same time. So we're going to change the buyer 1 to say 2, because we want them to get it second. And I don't care if buyer 2 gets it at the same time as buyer 1, so they can have a 2 as well. And then after they sign it, it can be sent to the escrow agent. So if you want to change your order around, you can, but you want to receive that document first, so you need to be number 1. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. So if you click done, that's your signing order. So if you need to get back to that, it's actions and edit recipients. All right. I should know. Oh yeah, you can, I guess, in that spot. Yeah, yeah. If it changed your colors, it's okay. Just make sure you're paying attention to what you're assigning to each person. All right, go down to the last signing page for me.
Common question.
Yeah.
People want to know why the escrow agent's in there.
So the escrow agent is in here as page 14 because some of us use the e-signature document for the escrow agent to sign it. It will immediately send it to them. Correct.
Yeah, that's not good.
You don't have to add them if you don't want to. I'm showing you how to add additional fields. Yeah, you can, absolutely, if you'd like to. Yes. Yes. So again, if you want to edit your recipients, you can go up to Actions, Edit Recipients, and we'll just go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and remove the escrow agent. So this can be a little confusing because it doesn't get the X up in the top, it gives the X to the side. If we just delete them, they're gone.
Thanks, guys, we're learning too, just so you know.
Yeah, we are. We're not experts. So if you're up here at Actions, you edit recipients. And then you delete the escrow agent if you don't want them to sign. Okay. Yes. Go back up where? Okay. All right, guys, last thing I want to talk about before I let you guys open it up to questions for anybody who wants to stay. At the bottom of the document, Dotloop did this really cool thing where it automatically calculated when your person was signing the document. So if you want to add the date to any of your signatures, you have to physically add date signed. So the most important place for that to go on offer to purchase is at the very end on your signatures page. So where you have buyer, buyer, date, date, let's go to buyer 1. You're going to have them sign, obviously, in the first blank. You'll also need to add a date signed button above them. This will automatically pull the date and time that they sign it and add it to your document as well, but you have to have your date signed because it doesn't automatically pop up next to the signatures like on Docusign. Correct. That's why it's so important to add this.
I've received offers like that.
So we'll go to buyer 2, we'll add their signature, and we'll also add date signed. Yeah, there's also not a date on those. So if what April's talking about is on, is it page 3 or 4? Dun, dun, dun. So where you guys are populating your due diligence date and your settlement date,
Also, when you delete an escrow agent, it could have changed your color.
yeah, that's why the colors changed.
Yeah.
So if you are adding a date in your due diligence period and your settlement date, there is no date option as in .loop where you could pop up the little calendar and click on what you wanted. So we're going to click text and we're going to be adding text boxes there. But see, look, I'm already confused because I just added a text box for buyer too because it's purple like all my other fields were. So remember how I said if you go over to the right side, you can change this to buyer's agent. So now I have a text box here where my date should be. So we're going to talk about that when we're talking about sending envelopes. That's the next class. So I'll show you guys how to remove the field, or I'm actually not using that, but we'll talk about how to remove the field and add email addresses and send Okay. So this is incomplete. You will have to go in and add the rest of your text boxes, but for the sake of time, I don't want to keep you guys all afternoon just to show you how to add a text box and click Can Collaborate. So we're going to open it up to questions if you'd like to stay, or if you'd like to stay and continue filling out your template. What's up, Kelsey?
I was gonna say, when you're doing, or when you're putting the signatures and you're wanting the date signed, make sure that it's the same color as
Yes.
whatever buyer, whatever.
Yeah.
If you add it under you,
Then
it's
it'll-
gonna think that it's your signature, but, so it's gonna wait for your signature.
Right.
Repeat that with me here.
Yeah.
What she said.
Guys, that was really important information that Kelsey just shared. So Kelsey just shared when you are adding the date signed button, you need to make sure that it matches the color of the signature that you want the date grabbed for. Because if you accidentally populate it with the same color as listing agent or buyer's agent, it's going to pull the time that you sign the document. And if you don't sign the document at all, then it's not going to pull a time. So just make sure your colors match as you go through the document. So the next class that we have, we're not leaving you hanging. The next class that we have, we're going to show you how to use the templates. So your homework after this class is to finish using your offer to purchase to add the rest of your text fields. And in the next class, we're going to show you how to send your documents through Docusign to the account. Thank you. You're welcome.
Hey, do you have a formula for clearing the signatures at the bottom?
We gotta do that, Adrian. Hey guys, if you guys would, make sure that this is on our doors, the techhelpmc509@gmail.com. If you guys have questions, concerns, or a better way to teach this to help us, because this will be an ongoing class, and we need your feedback. So, no, we are only gonna check this once a day, actually. So if you need additional help, there is one-on-one tutoring. It is $99. It can be split 3 ways, $33 each. It is Becca, Alex, Kelly, Katie White. Okay? The reason that this is being done and we have gotten the okay to do this is because we are taking time away to help teach you guys, and we don't mind doing so. But yesterday, it was over 4 hours that we had to designate to this. And then today, it was a couple of hours. Last week, we spent hours. We're spending hours on this. And so that's why it's important for everybody just to keep quiet. Try to come to the classes. Try to learn on your own. If not, you're going to have to go to additional one-on-one training. Because when we're sitting down and we're having to constantly walk you through something that's already been taught, you know, that everybody has, we can't